I'm Renata Voss. I'm 38. And the night my mother announced my sister's engagement at our grandmother's funeral repast, I was standing 6 feet away, holding a tray of sandwiches nobody asked me to make. My grandmother had been dead for 11 hours. Her body was still at Clement's funeral home on Birch Street, and my mother was tapping a wine glass with a butter knife, asking everyone to quiet down because Priya had something wonderful to share. Priya had a ring, a 3-stone cushion cut. My mother had known about it for 2 months. I found that out later. But what I found out after that is what cost my mother everything she thought she'd protected. Welcome back. If you've ever been made invisible by the people who were supposed to see you most clearly, stay with me. This one is quiet. And it's going to stay that way until it isn't. My grandmother, Nadia Voss, came to this country at 31 with a suitcase and a shorthand certificate. She cleaned offices for 9 years, then started a small bookkeeping business out of her kitchen table in Akron, Ohio. By the time she retired, she had a paid-off house in Fairlawn, a savings account she called her insurance policy, and 2 granddaughters she said were equal in her eyes. I believed her for 37 years. I was the older one, the steady one. I drove Nana to chemotherapy for 14 months. I navigated the maze of insurance appeals and organized her medications into a plastic pill case every Sunday evening. I didn't do any of this for credit. I did it because she was my grandmother, and I loved her, and she was dying. Priya visited 4 times from Denver. She sent white peonies, Nana's favorite. I used to quietly resent those flowers until the Thanksgiving Priya came down and tried to hand Mom a check for Nana's medical expenses. Mom physically pushed her hand away. "Renata handles the messy stuff," she told Priya, patting her cheek. "You just focus on your career." Priya looked guilty, but she put the checkbook away. She wasn't malicious. She was just happily blind to how our mother was weaponizing my labor. My mother treated those 14 months like a scoreboard with only one player. Every time I left Nana's house on a Sunday, she would call Priya. Nana knew. She would say, "Your mother is giving Priya the Sunday update," without complaint, the way very old women report facts they've already accepted. I told myself it didn't matter. Nana knew who showed up. That was enough. That is what people tell themselves when they are wrong. Nana passed on a Thursday in November, quiet, in her own bed, with the window cracked 2 inches the way she always slept. I was there. My mother was there. Priya was in Denver at a conference and flew in the next morning. The repast was at Nana's house that Saturday. 41 people, neighbors, cousins, the women from her old church group. I made the sandwiches, 3 kinds, and the cucumber salad and the coffee. I had been awake for most of 48 hours. At 2:14 in the afternoon, my mother tapped her wine glass. I thought she was about to thank people for coming. That is what you do at a repast. She thanked people for coming. And then she said she had one more thing, something that would have made Nana so happy, because family is everything and new beginnings are how we honor the people we've lost. Priya held up her left hand. The room made the sound rooms make when a diamond appears. A collective inhale, a beat, then applause. My mother was already crying the good kind of tears. I set the sandwich tray on the counter and walked to the backyard. I stood next to Nana's garden, counting how long it would take for someone to come find me. Nobody came. I went back inside and made more coffee. The next morning, my mother posted 43 photos from the repast on Facebook. 38 featured Priya and the ring. I appeared in 0 photographs. I was there for 9 hours. If you've ever been edited out of a moment that was also yours, you know exactly what that absence looks like. I would have let it go. I am a person who has spent 38 years letting things go. I let it go all the way until the following Thursday, when Nana's estate attorney called me at work. Nana's primary estate asset was the Fairlawn house, assessed at $320,000. In her most recent will, executed 14 months earlier, Nana had left the house to both granddaughters equally. But there was an amendment, filed 8 weeks before Nana died. The amendment removed my name. The house was left entirely to Priya. I sat in my car in the parking garage for 22 minutes. I called the attorney back and asked one question. Who prepared the amendment? It had been prepared by my mother's notary in Copley, the woman who had handled my parents' mortgage documents for 20 years. The filing date was the 3rd week of October. The same week Nana had a bad medication reaction, and I had driven her to the emergency room on a Tuesday night and stayed until 4 in the morning. My mother had been at the house alone with Nana on that Thursday. I didn't confront my mother. I called an estate attorney named Marcus Webb. He reviewed the document and called me back. The signature on the amendment didn't match the original will. The witness line was in my mother's handwriting. Undue influence. When someone exploits a position of trust to alter a vulnerable person's documents in their own favor. Because I was the steady one, I had documented everything for 14 months. Sunday pill cases, appointment notes, the Tuesday ER visit, time stamped in the hospital system. I hadn't kept them as evidence. I kept them because documentation protects people. It turns out it also protects what they meant to leave behind. Priya's engagement party was the 3rd Saturday of January. 62 guests. Marcus filed the forensic document challenge on a Wednesday. The court issued a temporary hold on estate distribution that Friday. Between Friday and the party, my mother called me 11 times. I answered once and said 4 words. Marcus Webb handles it. I went to the party. I wore the black dress from Nana's service. I sat at my assigned table near the kitchen. I had not expected otherwise. After the toasts, my mother stood to give a speech. She talked about love and family, and how Nana made sure Priya would always be taken care of. She meant the house. I stood up from the table near the kitchen. I said clearly, without raising my voice, "Mom, the estate distribution is on hold, pending forensic review of the amendment. The probate court issued that order 9 days ago." The room went still. My mother's face changed slowly, the way ice changes before it cracks. She said, "Renata, this is not the place." I said, "I know. That's why I only said one sentence." And I sat back down and ate my cake. It was good cake. Lemon with buttercream. The forensic review took 6 weeks. The conclusion was that the amendment signature showed significant deviation from Nana's established pattern. The amendment was invalidated. The will reverted to the original. Equal shares. My mother has not spoken to me since the party. Priya called once, in February. She was crying. She told me Mom had pitched the amendment to her as Nana's special wedding gift, and that Priya had absolutely no idea I was being cut out to make it happen. I listened to her sob, and I realized she was just another piece on Mom's chessboard. I believe her. That is one thing I've decided to believe. The house sold in April. We split it down the middle exactly as Nana intended. My half is sitting in an account I named Nadia. I still have the pill cases. All 14 of them. They're in a box in my closet. But they aren't just proof that I showed up anymore. They are a reminder of what it costs to stay quiet and let things go. Some betrayals don't happen loudly. They don't announce themselves with a shout. They happen in quiet rooms with borrowed pens in the margins of paperwork meant to completely erase you. I wasn't in the background of a single photograph that day, but I am the reason the picture exists at all. If you've ever had to fight to keep your name in your own family's story, drop a comment with the word Sunday. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.